From the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, we bring you Money Masters. Hi, I'm your host, Nick Palavita, and we're here today with our panelists from the world of academia, Dr. Boris Abbey, from the world of business, Kim Calhoun, and we have our very special guest from the world of entrepreneurship, Jack Strausser. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nick.
All right, so the thing is, from what I understand, you're an entrepreneur and you went to one of my favorite colleges, Eckerd College, which a lot of people don't know about. It's one of the few colleges in the world that actually has a beach. So the thing is, if you had a chance to go to Eckerd, you have to really look into this because you can actually, you know, if school's not doing too well, you just go to the beach, right?
You go hang out on the beach.
And did you do that when you went to Eckerd?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Right. Okay, so you're actually a transplant from Chicago. You went to Eckerd College. You got your sand in your shoes. And what'd you do after college? What'd you do?
Well, my brother, he introduced me to a business that back then it was a brand new business called karaoke. Mm-hmm. And we didn't call it karaoke back then to sell it. We created a business opportunity out of karaoke because nobody ever heard of karaoke. So, you know, we started selling karaoke as a way to have a small business, as a business opportunity, making money in bars, mm-hmm. singing, performing, entertaining. Mm-hmm. And, you know, so that was my business out of college.
So immediately when you got out of college, you went into karaoke? You didn't go get what they call the regular job?
Actually, no. I actually went to Eckerd as an adult.
Okay.
So when I was 17, 18 years old, I went into business for myself. I couldn't find a job, mm-hmm. so I was forced to go into business. So after I made a few $1 million after many businesses and a lot of hard work, mm-hmm. I went to college. Right. You know, and I went to Eckerd at 26 years old, mm-hmm. you know.
Okay, and then you got your degree and then you went to karaoke.
Yes, right? And then right out of college, my brother grabbed me and said, you know, Jack, you've been successful at a lot of businesses. Can you help me with this new concept that nobody knows about? And I looked at it. He brought me up. He showed me what he did. And I wrote a business manual. Basically, what he told me, I wrote. And said, you know, you walk into a bar, you sell the bar, you show them the equipment, you demonstrate it, and then you ask for $300 a night. Mm-hmm. And we took that manual and we sold that manual as a way to find people who would buy the equipment.
Right.
So we would sell the manual as a book or a very expensive book.
A $300 book?
Yes.
Okay, so you were out. So you were out selling $300 books right. to people in bars. Were they drunk when they bought it?
No, we ran ads.
I'm just wondering. You know, maybe that's a great business opportunity.
We ran ads in mm-hmm. on Cosmopolitan.
Right.
We ran little ads saying, perform, sing, entertain in clubs, and make $1,500 a week. Mm-hmm. And people would answer those ads, and then I would send them a flyer. And the flyer would say, we have a book here for $295, and it'll teach you how to make $1,500 a week singing and performing in clubs. Mm-hmm. So then they would respond. They would send us the $295, and we would send them
the book.
Well, actually, the book, and
right.
we'd also sell it with a little kit, you know, a little startup kit, banners and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So they'd say, well, where do I find the equipment? And we would say, by the way, we are distributors of equipment.
Oh, so you sell the equipment after you sell the book?
Yes, that was the real money.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The money made from the book is what paid for the advertising to sell the book.
Right.
The profit from the equipment is what we put in our pockets.
Right. So how many of these units did you sell?
Well, we sold about 15,000
wow.
books and sets of equipment with
right.
them.
Right. And that's how you got started in the karaoke
Correct.
business. Was that mainly in Florida or?
It was in Chicago.
Where? In Chicago.
Yes.
Okay. Right. And then how far did you distribute all this?
Well, I started manufacturing karaoke after my first 10 years of distributing it. Once I distributed it, I had a lot of ideas, and I passed those ideas on to Pioneer or JVC, and they would use them, and they would be successful. So I got more confidence in my ability to invent products because they were using my ideas, inventing, you know, making the products. So then Once I started, I sold that company, a distributorship, and then I started a manufacturing company. in which I patented my concepts, and I made my concepts in China.
Okay, I was going to ask about the manufacturing company.
Yeah.
The manufacturing company started in the United States, and the manufacturing was in
karaoke equipment.
in karaoke equipment, but
Right.
but the actual physical components where they're making the parts was in China.
Correct.
And then it was shipped over here.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Right.
So the inventions and the ideas and the designs and the patents were created here. And then we took that over to China, and they would make the actual product. And then we would import it and then sell it to the mass merchants or dealers or whoever would buy it.
Okay. Dr. Boris Abbey, from the world of academia, it seems to me that this guy is more of an entrepreneur. He didn't really he didn't get a regular job, but he did find a way to find some really interesting people in bars to sell to a $300 book. Which I think is a great idea. What do you think about this in terms of this $300 book idea?
I think it's a brilliant idea. You know, any entrepreneur, and you did exceptionally well at this, finding your niche and exploiting that niche. And it's more than just coming up with the idea, it's working very hard. And I appreciate that you mentioned that, because a lot of people out there don't realize the amount of work and also the amount of failure that goes into designing any product or any idea. You have personally affected millions of lives just by simply selling these books, and also entertained people. And that's very, very profound. But people do need to realize all the hard work that goes behind that book.
Okay, yeah, I have a question about the hard work. So your work hours was 9 to 5, right? In other words, 9 to 5, or was it 5 to 9?
It was more like 5 to 5 or 5.
So you put in long hours?
Yes, very long hours. I mean, to be an entrepreneur, I think you really have to dedicate your life to it. And the more you work, the more you save. The more you save, the more you can reinvest. So it propagates itself, you know, to, you know, the more money you make, if you're not going out drinking and enjoying your friends at night.
No, those are the people I want to sell to. I want to sell those $300 books to the people that are drinking.
Yeah.
Great idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Right. So from the world of business, Kim, what do you think about this? Long hours, hard work, but if you find the, you know, the bars and you can sell them a $300 book, sounds like
what's that called? Liquid.
Liquidity?
Liquidity?
Yeah.
Yes, no, Jack, I think it's brilliant, and you've mentioned some really great things as being a startup, but not just being a startup, just any good business practices, saving, spending your money right, because I'm sure that when you first began, you probably didn't know all of these things right off the top. And nobody taught you all of this in school or anything like that. So you've had to come up with some of this through some real hard experiences. And so what was, if you could tell the viewers, some of the biggest challenges that turned out to be now you use today for what you're doing today?
Well, I think the biggest challenges that I faced, and I think most entrepreneurs face, is the fact that you have an idea, a concept, and you can write a business plan, but you have to constantly change. You know, I almost say that the first guy to make, or first person, woman or guy, to make 100 mistakes on their business plan will succeed, because you have to make them quick and cost effective so that you don't put too much money in your ideas before you get a proven concept. You know, everything is modified and changed slowly, because people will tell you what you did wrong, or you'll make a mistake. So if you get hung up on your idea and you put too much money and too much time into it without testing it immediately and not, you know, holding it on to it too long, you have a much bigger chance of failure, because time and money are the only real assets you have. You know, you have to have. You got to make your mistakes quick so you don't cost you too much. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned. You know, get out there and just do it. Don't waste any time.
You got to be willing to change, is what you're saying.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, Jack, we're at the CS show in Las Vegas, the biggest consumer electronics show in the world.
Right.
172,000 people are here this week. I can tell you it was difficult to get a hotel room, if next to impossible. Motel 6 is like $200 a night. I mean, seriously crowded. Now, how did you happen to come, and why are you here at the Consumer Electronics Show? What's the deal?
Well, consumer electronics, I want to sell the major mass merchants, and I want to sell the biggest buyers out there. And because my product is an electronic, that's where they come. All the Walmarts and the Best Buys and all the major companies, they come here and they look for good ideas, new ideas to buy. And so you want to present your wares at the biggest show, and the biggest show is where the biggest buyers come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a worldwide show.
Absolutely.
As we all know, we've had people come here from all over the world, and we've interviewed some people from all over the world, so this is a huge show, huge opportunity. But I also understand you have a new product that you're working on?
Yeah, I've been manufacturing karaoke and designing it, and I use some of the patents that I created on the karaoke systems to actually create some other products. I was looking for a bigger market, so I said some of my patents will fit into the cell phone, tablet, charging docking station market. Mm-hmm. So I figured I'd make a whole new line of products, charging stations, for the cell phone tablet industry.
Right. Now, Jack, patents are important to you, right?
Yes.
That's because I can't steal your idea as soon as you show it.
That's exactly
Okay,
right.
that's the whole idea. All right. So let's do this. Let's take a look at some of the products you developed. Let's take a look at this thing. Right. Okay. We got a lot of equipment here, but what is it?
Well, what this is, it's a charging station. This one charges 5 devices. It could charge 6 if we use this as a wireless charger. But what I did is we created a basic speaker system because it adds value. Just not only a charger, you could use it to play your music from your phone. Mm-hmm. So it charges 5 or 6 devices. And what I've done is I've taken it USB charging. A USB used to only be on a computer.
Right.
And I wanted to, the phone manufacturers would not give me a license quick enough, you know, because they give it to Sony first, they give it to the big guys, and then the little people have to wait. So I wanted to have a cradle, so I invented my own cradle that would fit all their phones and tablets. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I took a simple designed cradle which would accept any cord, mm-hmm. and I would allow it to fit inside of a little cup. I made a trough in the back so that any cord would fit in there, and I created the cradle, and then I figured out a way of putting the USBs that you have on a computer, which everyone uses now for a cord, to put them on back of the machine. So therefore it can now play your phone and hold any device up, phone, tablet, even it'll charge your watch. As long as it uses a USB charging port, you can charge a watch, you can charge just about anything. So we wanted to keep everything in it. They're multi-chargers. We wanted to keep everything in one location in your home. So you could have this in the kitchen or in your bedroom so that it's convenient to have all your devices instead of having a few devices, you know, wherever a plug is available.
Right. Can this do karaoke also because you got a little speaker?
No, I didn't put a microphone mixer in it, so therefore it can't do karaoke.
Okay, but you could turn like a radio on or something like that?
Yeah, you could. Well, actually, if you have Pandora, you can use Bluetooth, or you can take from your headphone jack, you can plug into the aux-in jack here. So it works with phones with Bluetooth, phones without Bluetooth. So it's a complete speaker system. I call it more of an organizer because it organizes your Pandora music or whatever. You can play any music from any station at all, and then you can use it to charge your watch, your phones, your tablets, or whatever you have.
Right. Well, Jack, it seems like you're a complete entrepreneur. Boris, since you come from the world of academia, how much education do people get in the world of being an entrepreneur?
A real world education. You can only learn so much in the classroom. And whenever I teach students, it's all about reality. The textbook is only a guide and, you know, not even 1% of life. You know, for example, developing a product like this, being told that it's going to fail or that this needs to be improved, and, you know, accepting that constructive criticism, but also having that work ethic, which is very, very important. And in life, in academia, work ethic is everything. You know, Absolutely. If you do not work hard and focus on your dreams, and also deal with failure, that's critical for any entrepreneur.
Right. Now, Kim, since you're an entrepreneur and we're into this world of success and failure, did you learn a lot about entrepreneurship when you were in the college?
I did not, but I was lucky enough to have some really good mentors in the entrepreneurial world. And what I will say is the two things I've learned in sales and in entrepreneur is that the true lead to success is failure and rejection.
Absolutely.
Each time you get rejected, learn from it why. In sales, you've learned this.
Yes.
I mean, how many times did you get rejected in sales?
10 times more than I've ever gotten accepted.
Right. So, and you take that and you keep moving on.
Exactly.
And you use that formula for your business model down the road when you build your next business. So, no, I didn't learn anything, but I'm learning a lot here.
Now, Jack, you went to Eckerd College, and then you became an entrepreneur. How did Eckerd help you in terms of your learning process in becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, the biggest thing for college was, for me, the biggest reason I went is because as an entrepreneur and making money, I would go into a business meeting with a big chain store, and I would try to sell them my wares. And I remember their vocabulary was so sophisticated, I didn't understand what they were saying. You know, well, we need a pro forma, we need this, we need that. And I didn't understand the verbiage. So I said, I really felt insecure, even though I had made millions of dollars.
No, wait. How did you make millions of dollars before you went to college?
Well,
it sounds to me like at 17 or 18, all of a sudden I'm making millions of dollars.
So,
then you go to college. Usually go to college, then you make millions,
right,
not the other way around.
I
So
did it the
how'd you do
other
that?
way. So
How'd you do this the other way?
I was forced. I couldn't get a job when I was 17,
That usually
18
makes
years
entrepreneurs,
old.
right?
And I started off, and I was introduced through a young lady that I knew. She introduced me. She used to sell you know, flowers on street corners and Christmas trees and carpets for other people. You know, you'd see these peddling. So at 17, 18 years of age, I started peddling my wares at flea markets and on street corners. And, you know, so at Christmas time, we'd rent a big lot and we'd just sell off the side of the road Christmas trees. And I slowly built that business, and I made a fortune doing it.
Selling Christmas trees?
Oh my gosh.
In Florida?
No, in Chicago.
Okay.
I was in Chicago.
In Chicago,
yes.
okay, right.
So that's how I started, and I saved, and you know, and that business turned into another business. I bought a limousine service. So the more money I made, the more money I saved, and the more.
Okay, what was
money
that four-letter word you used?
Limo?
No, save.
Yeah, save.
Okay, all right, there we go.
Yeah, you have to.
I
save.
mean, you know, in today's economy, this word "save" is not part of our vocabulary, right? Okay, but as an entrepreneur, you saved your money.
Yeah,
right?
you have to be very. You have to have that cushion, because being an entrepreneur, you're always going to hit that wall. You're going to make the mistake. You're going to get rejected, and it's going to take you time to rebound. And I always tried new things. I didn't stay, you know, selling Christmas trees. I didn't stay selling carpets. I moved on. I wanted to, you know, try new businesses. And so every time I tried a new business, sometimes they success, and sometimes they led me into something else.
Right.
You know, and trade shows will help you do that. You'll learn a lot at a trade show if you want to be an entrepreneur. Trade shows are one of the best learning tools.
Right. And then after you did all this and you were making millions doing these businesses, you said, hey, forget this million stuff. I need to go to college. And you went to college.
I had enough money.
And you chose Eckerd College because of the beach, right?
Yep, it was beautiful,
Right.
and I was in that area, and it was the best college location I could find. And
Right.
so I wanted to feel secure. I really wanted the confidence to know that I knew what you knew.
Right.
You know, I wanted to know that, you know, what the teachers taught me, that I understood, and I didn't feel inferior. Now that made me very confident and helped my business, my businesses out, because when I went into a meeting, I knew this half of it, and I knew the academia half of it.
Right.
And once I know both of them, then I really felt I had an edge, and that edge made me much more confident in inventing products and coming out with new ideas and listening to people, as you had mentioned, listening to people and being able to have the craftsmanship to bring that product to fruition. You know, anybody can come up with a great idea. I think everybody's smart enough to do a great idea. It's taking that idea and the craftsmanship to make it happen, you know, to know those 1,000 different things that you need to know about plastics, about you know, concepts and what you can and can't do. And confidence is a big part of that, you know. And if you have the confidence, you can make your idea into fruition, because you really have to depend only on yourself and your contacts and your relationships that you make over the years. And once you do one small, simple project and you meet an engineer, a CAD designer, a manufacturing company in China. Once you have all that in place, then you learn all the little craftsmanship that you need. They say, well, you got to have a bigger box because the speakers are bigger than that, so you can't make it so small. It's got to be bigger. You got to do this differently because those components won't fit that way. Or those plastics, only certain things of plastic will do. You can't, make weird designs that won't let an injection mold make that product for you. So as you learn these things, you get more and more skilled, but you got to start somewhere. So you start with something simple, hopefully it succeeds, or even if it fails, what you'll learn from your failures is 5 times more than what you'll learn from your successes.
Right. So the thing is, and you also learn that if you go to a bar and you find somebody who's drinking and you can sell them a $300 book, that's pretty smart thinking, right?
Yeah, well, it's almost multi-level. Once one person sings and they say, how do you get a job doing this,
Right.
And they tell them, well, I bought this book, and then they, go out and look for that book, and it's, because it's in the public arena, so it's, very easy to advertise, what you're doing.
Right. Right. Now, Kim, you're an entrepreneur. What are your thoughts about this entrepreneurship?
I think he's got the steps down. I think he could write a book on entrepreneurship.
Did you write a book on entrepreneurship?
Well, I wrote a basic book on how to get started to make money on entrepreneurship.
Right.
In other words, the peddling business. My teacher at Eckerd College, my senior year, he said, do you know how much money? I have a person that sells carpets on the, out on the, off the highway, and he makes a fortune, an absolute fortune. And I said, teacher, I'm an expert in this field. I've done this for 7, 8 years of my life. I know everything there is to know about this. And he says, you're kidding me. He says, I was fascinated because one of his friends was making a lot of money doing it. So I wrote a paper for him, and I took that paper after college and I turned it into a book. And I wrote a book on how to get started to make enough money in a primitive, basic business, buying, selling, hiring, just the fundamentals,
Sure, the fundamentals,
right? It's nothing sophisticated, no real big overhead, just, you buy your flowers, your Christmas trees or whatever, you hire people, you set up, you sell,
Fundamentals of entrepreneurship.
Fundamentals, right.
Right.
And that, gave me the fundamentals. And once I understood the fundamentals, I had more confidence to do more businesses.
Now, at the CS conference, there's, like I say, 172,000 people here. Are there a lot of entrepreneurs, or are there a lot of just old, established businesses? What do you see here?
I see both. Yes, I see both. I see the old established business, but I see hundreds of new ideas and new companies and new concepts coming out. And I love to see the new guy. A few years ago at the toy show, I met a guy who came up with a beautiful idea, and I just loved it. I says, you mean to tell me you spent all this money you have and you made a couple samples and big pictures, and he tried to sell, and I just loved the fact that he had that spirit. He's very young, just like me, and he spent so much money to test his idea. And years later, he was never selling that idea, but he learned so much from the trade show, he picked up some other ideas that ended up making him more money. And I just love to see those young entrepreneurs come out.
Important question for you.
Sure.
Okay. Listen very carefully. Do you believe in a democracy?
Absolutely.
He goes, absolutely yes. Okay. Well, we have a sort of a democracy here. Here's the democracy. We get to vote, but you don't. Okay? And here's going to be the vote about this product. So we're going to first turn to the world of academia. You don't get to vote. See, it's not a true democracy.
No.
It's close enough. Dr. Boris Abbey, what are your thoughts about this particular product?
I just bought a tablet less than 2 weeks ago for my travels, and also I have a phone, actually more than one phone because I go through them rather quickly. I vote yes.
So you give a thumbs up?
Thumbs up, yes.
Thumbs up. Really, that's good. Okay, so now we're going to go to the world of business, and you are definitely Mrs. Gadget. You dragged me here kicking and screaming. Educational show. So what do you think about this particular gadget?
I love it. All the charging capabilities on it. In my household, with all the kids that come and go, they are always taking my cables or my charger, have something like that sitting on the counter. They all come in, put it on there. I love it. 2 thumbs up. I think it's great for a household. Plus the speakers, I think that's awesome.
And in a sense, I get to vote too. And I'm not very good with computer things, but I do have gadgets. And as you well know, they always have problems with them, and they kind of like run out of steam. And I need that stuff, so I give a 2 thumbs vote. We'd like to thank Jack for coming to our show. And of course, we'd like to thank our audience for listening to Money Masters at the CES show in the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Pleased to meet you, take my